Today I am interpreting RM's astrology birth chart. I'm using a chart calculated for 12 p.m. and we'll be ignoring house placements, which are basically the areas of his life where the energies would manifest. And I will only be talking about the relationships between planets that are consistent throughout the day of his birthday due to unknown birth time. So RM has a sun in Virgo. Virgo is a feminine mutable sign associated with planet Mercury. In Greek mythology, Mercury is the archetype of Hermes, who was the messenger of the gods. Hermes was able to travel between the worlds, the living and material world, and the underworld, the world of the dead. It's said to be formless and fluid. It's associated with cerebral things. It represents communication, intelligence, mental perception, humor, and trickery. Due to Mercury's influence, Virgo is the most non-earthy sign of the earth signs. The vitality of RM is in his mental arena. With Mercury energy, he is analytical and discerning. Being a mutable earth sign, he is flexible, practical, and methodical. The feminine and yin quality of Virgo makes RM receptive, reflective, and service-oriented. Virgo's nurture and service is based on practicality, the usefulness they can offer. And they often offer services based on using their discerning qualities, which is very much a mental process. That's why Virgos come off as critical and nitpicky at times. RM's discernment has the need to categorize what goes where, what belongs and what doesn't, what is right or not right, what is useful versus not useful. He's also ethical, and morality plays an important role in his motivation as Virgos are associated with the mental purity. He is responsible and intelligent. He has a sense of responsibility to serve others with his intellectual capabilities. Let's look further into how RM is motivated with his sun aspects. So some of the constant sun aspects are Sun sextile Mars in Cancer, Sun trine Uranus and Neptune conjunction in Capricorn, and Sun sextile Pluto in Scorpio. So first, let's talk about the relating between his Sun and Mars. His Mars is in Cancer, which is said to be in its fall or depression. In Cancer, Mars is forced to play a part it's not very comfortable in. Mars in Cancer becomes cautious. Action is motivated in order to protect and defend. Mars moves sideways in Cancer like the crab, which is the animal symbol of Cancer. They feel uncomfortable with direct confrontation. Being a water sign, this Mars is emotionally driven. Action is motivated by caregiving and emotional security. So his Sun in Virgo sextiles to Mars in Cancer show a cooperative relationship between the two planets. RM is driven to achieve his goals and ambitions in a Cancerian way. Emotional instinct is the driving force of his will and self-expression, but this can make RM passive-aggressive as Mars here is not direct nor very assertive in combat. This is the placement of the home bodies. They feel protected and safe at home. Home is the safe haven. Because Cancer is associated with the moon and therefore past memories, RM lives in the past and often his past emotions are the push that inspire him into action. RM is able to capture emotional moments and use them for his self-expression. Virgo's ability to laser focus is expressed through action that is precise and careful, which provides him with the ability to focus his energies. When feeling emotionally secure, RM is protective, dependable, and helpful. He cares deeply for those he loves. He is able to assert his energy to soothe and nurture others and provide emotional support. RM has a Uranus and Neptune conjunction in Capricorn. Uranus' sudden changes, the unexpected, it's eccentric and inventive. Neptune is dreamy, spiritual, and is associated with all things unconscious. Uranus and Neptune conjunction in Capricorn is a generational placement. It speaks to a generation of people that has the capabilities to bring inspirational changes and shifts in social constructs through advancements in religious and spiritual beliefs. They have the ability to bring what's nebulous and intangible to the practical reality. With Uranus and Neptune, these individuals are visionaries, they're perceptive and original. But Sun trine to this generational conjunction is personal to RM. Trine is a harmonious aspect that helps us. It's gifts and qualities that come naturally to us and shows areas where we excel. This connection makes RM generous, inventive, intelligent, and hopeful. His perception and insights about his own individuality and ego expression motivates him to assert himself and share his insights with others. He's able to bring intangible concepts and visions into form and break down his intellectual perceptions to a language that others can understand and resonate with due to earthy and methodical Virgo and Capricorn combination. It provides him with the need to express himself to educate and guide others. His Sun sextile to Pluto in Scorpio speaks to personal transformation, the death and rebirth of ego and identity. With this aspect, RM experiences many transformations in his life. He is energized and empowered through metaphysical death and rebirth. The destruction and rebuilding of his ego and identity is a central theme in his life. This experience is often described as a phoenix rising from the ashes by a lot of astrologers. Pluto gives him the drive to dig deep and go to places that are hidden and dark. It provides him with a deep desire to uncover and understand his own psyche, which gives him the perceptive understanding of his own ego needs. Not only does he understand his darkest shadows, but his experiences help understand others as well. Pluto adds strength and power to his vitality and outward expression. Although we don't know his birth time, we can be certain of his moon in Sagittarius, as the moon stays in Sagittarius for the entire day of his birthday. Moon is our emotions, instincts, and inner world. Sagittarius is expansive, optimistic, and enthusiastic. With this moon, RM is willing to extend himself emotionally. He is motivated to widen his spiritual wisdom and philosophical understanding of the world, which nurtures his inner peace. This moon makes RM easygoing, free-spirited, and open-minded. There is a sense of optimism when dealing with emotional hardships or discomforts. It's possible he can overextend himself or make promises he can't deliver with expansive Jupiter energy here, as Jupiter is the planet associated with Sagittarius. I find Sagittarius moons to be a bit detached, as Sagittarius is associated with faraway places. It's possible that RM is often in his own world or somewhere else in mind when feeling under stress or pressure. With this moon, RM doesn't feel the need for intimacy or dependence on others. Sagittariuses don't require validation or has the need to be accepted by society because they are confident in their own beliefs and perspectives. He actually needs personal space and freedom. RM is self-motivated and self-sufficient. I will be skipping over the moon aspects as the moon moves so quickly, so it's hard to pinpoint and talk about aspects without being certain. So let's move on to his Mercury. Mercury is our mental perception, our logic, and reasoning. It represents communication in our written work. With Libra Mercury, RM is concerned with balance, harmony, and equilibrium. On one side, he doesn't want to take sides as he's able to see all sides. On the other hand, he can appear indecisive and lack the ability to take a stance. Taking aspects into consideration, his Mercury makes contact with Mars, Saturn, and Neptune. His Mercury is squared to Mars in Cancer, which indicate the thinking mind is in conflict with action. With Cancer Mars, RM can be avoidant of confrontation. He can be defensive at times, taking things too personally. It can indicate he has a hard time following through with his words or on ideas, and may be stuck in thinking rather than taking action. This can also manifest as fear with emotionally combative Mars and Mercury's need for harmony. Assertiveness of Mars expresses anger in speech and communication or in writing. Born singer Deng and Ah are my favorite examples of this energy in his creative work. With maturity and experience in its strength, RM can use his verbal assertion in order to stand up and fight for others, using his voice to defend, protect, and nurture the underprivileged and the wounded. His Mercury is quintile to Saturn and Pisces, which show mental discipline. This aspect shows talent to communicate clearly and effectively with purpose. RM has the mental capability to assess cracks and weaknesses in foundations and structures within society, as Saturn is a social planet. It can indicate great perceptive understanding of rules and structures, which help him make sense of how things work. RM has an uncanny ability to communicate with and persuade authority figures. It can also show communication that is serious, holds power, and influence. This aspect definitely shows his effective leadership skills through communication with compassion and positive reinforcement. His Mercury is square to Neptune in Capricorn. This shows conflict between his thoughts and perceptions. Sometimes it is probably hard for RM to separate his mental energy from his imaginations or fantasies. There is a sense of confusion with Neptune. Ideas, thoughts, perceptions can be clouded here, which can lead to misunderstandings. This combination can create a suspicious mind and a fear of being kept in the dark, which motivates him to deepen and widen his knowledge base. Although his thoughts, communication, and mental perception is supported with Saturn's discipline and wisdom, this square with Neptune does show difficult aspects that cause some clouded perceptions that are hard to put into words. So, in regards to love and relationships, we will be talking about Venus and Mars, the feminine and masculine archetypes of astrology. In his chart, his Venus in Scorpio is conjunct to Jupiter in Scorpio. Venus Scorpio is an intense and an emotional placement, speaking of need for intimacy and deep connections in love. He's penetrating, investigative, and attracted to the darker side of things. This shows his attraction to women that are intense, powerful, and mysterious. Jupiter here with the Venus magnifies this intensity and power, but also adds harmony and generosity to his love nature, as Venus and Jupiter are both benefic or positive, mostly happy planets. Adding Saturn to this energy in a trine aspect adds seriousness and stability in his relationships. Long-term commitment is shown by Saturn. He is reliable and dependable as a partner and seeks these qualities in others as well. RM is very much interested in setting roots and establishing a foundation through a family unit. With Pisces Saturn trying to his Scorpio Venus, RM might believe in soulmates and destiny when it comes to love and relationships. With Mars in Cancer, his love language is expressed through care and nurture. Emotional connection is a must here. He also needs a partner that he can rely on, someone who is dependable, and someone who can provide him with emotional security. His approach to love may not be direct, and he might be a bit reserved and shy in his expression at first. Mars sextile Sun and trine Jupiter can show good fortune and luck in love. Mars shows up and is able to put assertion and effort into establishing relationships here. RM is enthusiastic, adventurous, and optimistic when it comes to his approach to love. However, with Mars square Mercury and opposite Uranus and Neptune conjunction, there is a quality of being energized through conflict and challenge. It can also show sudden breakups or unexpected outcomes in relationships. So he would need to be careful not to get carried away by the energy or excitement in arguments and be mindful of the possible consequences. Love can also come and go suddenly, and sometimes there is a chance for RM to be left behind, confused as to what could have gone wrong. Neptune's energy here can imply tendency to idolize and put partners on pedestal, or provide situations or circumstances that are just confusing. In general, there's a lot of water element to his love nature, as Scorpio and Cancer are both water signs. Relationships are emotionally charged and can indicate that he experiences deep connections that are hard to let go of. Signs he would be compatible with include Virgo and Pisces. Virgo supports his sun, and there will be a natural understanding between the two, especially when it comes to self-expression and ego-based needs. Pisces, being the opposite sign of Virgo, would be complementary, but also being a water sign would provide him with a lot of nurture and emotional affinity. Scorpio and Cancer. Both water signs would do well. They will understand RM's need for emotional connections and intimacy, but it's also possible that they might feel RM doesn't return the emotional support due to his Sagittarius moon. And then lastly, Sagittarius, which is a good intellectual match as well as an emotional match. Sagittarius would understand his need to obtain wisdom and for his need for personal space. These two would travel the world together and may enjoy studying the same spiritual concepts or philosophies. I do want to talk about RM's social responsibilities because his Jupiter energy is standing out to me in his chart along with Uranus and Neptune. Because Uranus and Neptune are making a lot of aspects in his chart, connecting to almost every planet in his chart, and they are also a part of a T-square. So, his Jupiter in Scorpio is trying to his Saturn. This energy basically indicates that there is a drive for the destruction of existing social structures and law in order to build better foundations and systems. Also, Jupiter is quintile to Uranus, and I think it's important to point out that Uranus is sextile to Pluto. So Uranus and Pluto energy being affected by Jupiter here, these contacts show the potential and actually a gift to bring on sudden expansion and advancements through destruction and transformation. These energies show vision and hope for the future regarding structure, foundational, and spiritual growth, as well as expansion of personal growth in society and social development through destruction of barriers. He has an aspect pattern that is really important to discuss. His Neptune-Uranus conjunction is opposite his Mars and trine to his Mercury, and Mercury squares back to his Neptune and Uranus conjunction. It's shown as that red triangle in the chart. This is an aspect configuration known as the T-square. This shape is formed between RM's cardinal planets representing beginnings, starting things, and making shifts. It is a pattern within RM that causes tension and struggle that must be expressed and resolved. RM's Mercury is the focal point here where the energies are channeled into. His communication is the resulting action, whereas the visionary shift of Neptune and Uranus opposite his assertion of Cancer Mars to defend and protect is representative of his attitude. There are themes of being superheroes in BTS songs. In the song Persona, RM says, "I dreamt of becoming a superhero." Something created in our imagination being brought down to reality in order to defend and protect. The desire to be a superhero is shown in the connection between his Neptune, Uranus, and Mars. But its outcome or expression is through communication or lyrics, his Mercury. There's a sense of social responsibility for RM to initiate changes in society and provide the push for shifts in perception, especially in ways to protect the underdogs of society. He tells us we should love ourselves first, which is a very Neptunian concept that higher spiritual love. The idea of facing our shadows is very much Pluto energy. Persona is really a song that is talking about the mask between the ascendant and the midheaven, the ego versus the public reputation. RM is inspired and inspires others to change and be pioneer of shift to lead younger generations to a better future through increasing awareness. He has visions of what should be, especially with his discerning Virgo sun, And this dynamic energy of his T-square is the push for him to achieve what he has achieved so far. And probably will be the energy behind a lot of the things he will accomplish in the future. Thanks for watching. Bye.